Hello, YouTube. It's me, John Avenger, once again. Welcome to another live stream on my channel. This is not going to be a commentary or anything like that. It's going to be my top 10 things that didn't suck about 2020. Yes, as bad as this year was, and trust me, there was a lot of bad. There were things that didn't suck about this year. I got a list right here, and I'm going to tell all of you guys the things that I found that were enjoyable about this year, despite all the problems and the isolation and the lack of movie theaters open. But we'll get to that. If you want to talk in the chat's open right here. And leave your questions or whatever comments in the chat while I do this. So let's get started, shall we? Number 10, Stargirl, the TV series from DC this year. If you saw it on streaming, it was available like a day before. But this one, yeah, this is actually one of the good shows that we had on the CW. Considering all the CW shows that ended this year, like Arrow and Supernatural and other shows, this one delivered. Was it perfect? Hell no. I think there was a lack of action in the middle of the show. The villain sucked. Her politics outside of the show were a little bit much for me. And if you read up on her, you know what I mean. But the show was really colorful. It had good, when the action was there, it was good. The characters were set up really well. They're doing world building without shoving it in your face. It stands on its own 2 feet. No, it's not replacing Supergirl. I know when Josh sees this, he's going to be like, oh, Breck is not replacing Melissa because Melissa's queen. I know that. You don't have to tell me in the comments. I already know. Breck is going to do just fine on her own. Melissa's going to go on to do feature films, so she's not typecasted, and I'm fine with it. But considering other shows that got canceled this year or got pushed to 2021, this show delivered. It's not Mandalorian, but it's better than anything I saw from the other CW shows that came out this year, like Arrow and The Flash and Supergirl and Batwoman, which I didn't even see because I didn't care. Or Black Lightning, yeah, it wasn't like that. It actually stood on its own. It didn't have the gay politics in it. It didn't have any of that or feminism. It did what it did, and it worked. Solid cast, mostly some humor, a good setup for the first season. Hopefully, the second season will be better. But for 2020, it could have been a lot worse. Next, number 9 is another DC thing that came out this year. No, it's not Birds of Prey. I didn't see it. It's Crisis on Infinite Earths. Yeah, people forgot that this came out in January before the disaster that this year was. Parts 4 and 5. This was a really good special. I mean, it's the only crossover we got this year from DC on TV. But you had a lot of great moments from the DC characters. You had a lot of badass moments, good action, good humor. There were some problems. Like I said, Batwoman doesn't do anything. Arrow sacrifices himself, but we already knew that. The fifth part kind of felt like an epilogue, but it's not as epic as the fourth part. I think the fourth part should have ended it. And also like I said, it was nice and long, so we were able to see this in January. It wasn't delayed. Would have been better if Stargirl and the Doom Patrol and all these characters got more screen time instead of just on-screen cameos. Yeah, but they can only put so much in such a massive crossover. And I like that they have different Earths and alternate versions of Superman and Batman and all that. That was really interesting. And the fact that they did this in January, it was done last year, but they released it. We got a lot of good moments, and it didn't suck. So at least we had that. So even though DC didn't give us much this year in the theater, and Marvel, we didn't get anything from them, at least we got this crossover. So it was a win-win situation for us. And the fact that this got released in January and it didn't suck, and we waited so long for parts 4 and 5, it didn't disappoint. So that's number 9. Number 8, this is probably the last DC thing that I'm talking about for this year. And that's Joker winning 2 Oscars at the Oscars this year. It won for Best Actor, Joaquin Phoenix, well-deserved. He deserved to win. And Best Musical Score, which it also deserved. The music was very haunting. It fit the tone of the movie. The film was amazing, but you saw my review of it on my old channel. It's one of the best DC movies that they've made without all the CGI garbage. And it's dark enough to be entertaining. I know it's not for everyone, everybody. It's not. It's very divisive, but I'm like, it was a movie meant for me. It was very dark. It had it's the story of a man who becomes a clown, which is interesting to me. It looked like a film. It wasn't like Suicide Squad where they're throwing a bunch of CGI in our face. It had a good flowing pacing. It wasn't 2.5 hours. So yeah, Joker winning 2 Oscars, it deserved it. It deserved the money it made. It deserves all the accolades and all the praise it got, and it deserved the 2 Oscar wins undeniably because it was Oscar gold. And that performance from Joaquin couldn't be matched this year. No other actor came even close to topping his performance. So that was another good thing about 2020. Joaquin had a great year. He won an Oscar finally, and he just had a baby. So with Rooney Mara. So good for you, Joaquin Phoenix. You deserve to have something good happen to you this year. Okay, that was number 8. Number 7 is films and TV shows on physical media. Yeah, this doesn't sound like much, but yeah, we got a lot of stuff to release this year on DVD and Blu-ray, some special editions of some old films. A lot of shows got box sets, complete series. A lot of stores had DVDs for real cheap, and a lot of movies were on sale on Blu-ray this year. So it kept us, if we had to stay home, we had physical media to get us through these horrible months of March through December. Well, it just started, but you know what I mean. Or for last year for people in China. But anyway, yeah, thanks to films and TV shows being on physical media, we were able to watch stuff without having to download it, without having to see it on a smart TV or have a Wi-Fi connection to see it. It made things convenient for us that, for people that couldn't leave the house. I left the house, and that's not as much as last year, but it worked. Releasing new movies on DVD and Blu-ray, people bought it because it's super cheap, and you can watch it at home without strings attached, without paying a monthly fee or whatever for streaming. But we'll get to that. But that was a good thing about 2020. A lot of physical media of films and TV shows. Some of them completed this year. So, yeah. Anyway, that's a good thing. We got to see a lot of stuff that we wanted to see for many years, like shows that didn't get a season that was missing, or a movie that was not released physically at all. And we finally got it through Vinegar Syndrome or Criterion or on 4K or MVD or whatever. We did get a lot of stuff this year, so I can't complain too much. Not a lot of films in theaters, but a lot of films on DVD and Blu-ray. So that's something. Okay, number 6. We're almost halfway through. This list is not going to take 3 hours. I just want to breeze through it because I know some people want to get on with their lives. Number 6 is diversity. Despite all the agendas that they try to force to feed this year because of what happened, there was a lot of movies and shows and talk shows and things like that, and reality shows and game shows that had a lot more people of color, Asians, Spanish people, Black people, Middle Eastern, Indian. Yeah, we had a lot of diversity this year. It was a good thing. But there was diversity for many years, but this year especially, we needed diverse cast members in films. We needed more people to be accepted for the color of their skin and for being different. We needed more, a melting pot. And it worked. Obviously, that's why a lot of movies that made money this year had interracial couples or Black people as leads, or TV shows that were highly popular because of the diversity factor. Sometimes it worked. In Watchmen last year, it was kind of forced, but in other stuff, it worked. And it's good to see people of color being put on a pedestal and no, it's not wokeness. It's called racial sensitivity. And when it works, it works. When it's forced, it's not needed. But this year, we had diversity, and it worked, despite the problems of this year. But anyway, that's something that was good this year that we can't ignore because it was everywhere, even before March. So, yeah. Okay, next is number 5. We're halfway home. This is a movie that came out this year that actually made it to theaters. It was funny, had a lot of action. It was a good sequel 17 years later, and that is Bad Boys for Life, aka Bad Boys 3. What can I say about this movie that I didn't say back in January? It delivered. It was a great sequel. Michael Bay was just in a cameo. He didn't direct it or write it. Will Smith and Martin Lawrence are at the top of their game. It was very entertaining for over 2 hours. There were problems, like I said, the villains, the Spanish, and the freaking some of the religious things were just forced in there. But other than that, great freaking movie. We got it in the theaters. It came out on Blu-ray. I'm going to get it in December, hopefully, on Amazon. And if you didn't see this in theaters, you missed out because it was very fun. It was better than the second one. It was a lot shorter. And, like I said, a very diverse cast. 2 black leads, a group of youngsters that were Canadian. One was Asian and Hispanic, and a bunch of other Hispanics as well. And it worked. Despite its, long hiatus and being in developmental hell for many years, changing directors and writers, and Bay didn't want anything to do with it, just a walk-on cameo. Bad Boys for Life deserved to make as much money as it did. And it actually made money in January because they released it before this happened. So if you didn't like it, fine, but I loved it. It was a great sequel, and it was a great experience in the theater, just letting loose and just letting my opinions fly and clapping at the end, because I do that, guys. I'm human. I'm not a robot. But yeah, Bad Boys for Life. Hopefully the 4th movie gets made and it gets released in theaters, because I want to see it in theaters. Because sometimes streaming doesn't save everything. I'd rather watch it in a crowded theater with a bunch of people clapping. That's something you can't duplicate at home. Anyway, that was number 5. Number 4, I know this game came out last year, but I played it this year, so it counts. And that is Pokemon Shield on the Switch. Not only was this game visually stunning and fun to play, it brought me back to the love that I had for the Pokemon series back in the 90s and the 2000s and the early 2010s. It spawned a great cartoon on Netflix. The game is very long, and it's not as hard as the last couple of games, but it's just a treat. I spend many hours in the summer and the fall playing the game, trading, capturing things. It's a lot of fun. If you haven't played this game, it's worth your time. If you have the Switch, get it. And if you're a fan of Pokemon, get it. Download it, play it. It's worth your time. I haven't finished it yet, but I will by January. And I'm still playing it. It's a lot of fun. It got me through a lot of boredom this year, staying in the house, avoiding people like that AIDS. But it got me through it, man. Video gaming really saved this year for me for a lot of, from doing things that are unspeakable things. But anyway, I'm not going to get there. I digress. It's a good game. Sword and Shield, worth a highly recommendation on my gaming list, of games you should play before you can't find it in stores anymore. And yeah, it's a great game. It was worth the long wait. It was like 4 years after Sun and Moon, and it was worth the wait. So, well, 3 years. In Japan, it came out like 2 years later. But it was. Thank you, Japan, for this game. Nintendo did a great job with this game. So that's that. Number 3 is, everybody's had this. A lot of people that have the internet know about this. Streaming services were a huge part of 2020, and it didn't suck. Netflix, Disney Plus, Peacock, Apple TV, YouTube Red, YouTube Premium, Pluto TV, HBO Max, which is just coming out. Anything that was streaming this year, we got to see things that we wanted to at home, and it saved a lot of this year for me. If I hadn't had the streaming services of Netflix, Tubi, and Disney Plus and Peacock, I probably would have been bored out of my mind this year, because I had to see the same stuff. And I'm like, no, got to see some new things, some old stuff I missed, a lot of nostalgia, like Mighty Morphin Power Rangers and Pokemon and a lot of other things. Yeah, streaming definitely was a huge plus this year. There were some negative stuff. There were some bad movies on Netflix and Disney Plus this year, but we did get a lot of good. The good outweighed the bad. So I can say streaming, even live streaming, on StreamYard and TikTok and Zoom and whatever, it was a big part of this year. So yeah, streaming was not that bad this year. It actually helped a lot of people cope with the freaking isolation, and it definitely helped me get through this year. Despite all the problems, I stream here. You guys leave your nice comments in the chat, and I get to express myself. And that's not always a hard thing for me. It's not always easy to do, but here I am. I'm still here, guys. So thank you, Netflix and YouTube and Disney Plus. Even if not much films came out this year, you can check out a lot of previous ones you never seen before and missed out on. Yes, Evan, and I did that through streaming. This has helped me a lot to go back and see films from the 2010s, the 2000s, the 90s that I missed, and I get to see them in pristine HD and with great picture quality, great sound. Well, the sound is okay on Netflix. It's not the best. With headphones, it's pretty good, but on a TV, so if you don't have a surround sound, it's not as good, the sound, but it did work. Disney Plus, despite my problems with some of the old things that they give and some of the movies being censored, yes, some of the movies are censored on Disney Plus, but to be fair, we got Mandalorian. That was better than any movie that came out from Star Wars in the past 5 years. Fight me on that. I don't care. That show is what I wanted 10 years ago, or for the 5 or 10 years ago for the franchise. A great show, live action that can only be streamed. You can't watch it on TV on the Disney Channel. It worked. It's a big part of what didn't suck about this year. And thanks to that movie, thanks to that show, I don't even need another movie because it feels cinematic every week. And I get to watch it on Disney Plus for free thanks to my sister. So, yeah, so streaming was a huge plus this year for 2020. Okay, now the final two. These are big. These are the last two things that didn't suck about 2020, in my opinion. There's probably things that you guys thought were that didn't suck about 2020. Two is Hamilton, the movie, the 2016 pre-recorded version of the Broadway show. This was amazing. I haven't reviewed it yet because I don't know what to say, but this is a musical you need to watch on Disney Plus because the show's not on Broadway right now. It's on hiatus. It's an amazing show. The songs, the choreography, the acting, well, the little acting that is there, the diverse cast, the costume design, the sets, everything just fits. It's as a fan of musical theater myself, because I watched it since I was a kid and in college, this was a huge treat for me. Lin-Manuel Miranda did a great job writing it. It's not for everyone. It's a little bit too long. I think there's songs that are kind of get repeated, and there's some scenes that could have been cut, but it's still a great experience. It's a theatrical experience you have to experience for yourself, either on Broadway or watching it on Disney Plus. It's amazing, and it's worth the hype. Is it worth spending a freaking home mortgage on it on Broadway? No, you can watch it on Disney Plus for free, and with the paid service, and it's worth your time. Or if you wait till next year, maybe Broadway will reopen and then won't go watch it because it's an experience you have to have. And it's one of the things this year that got me through the summer because there was nothing in theaters and the theaters were closed, and even the theaters that were open had shitty films like New Mutants, and films that were good flopped, like Tenet. I heard good things about, and Bill and Ted 3. So despite that, we still had this awesome freaking movie on Disney Plus that was an experience of a lifetime, definitely. And it did not disappoint. It was a great music and an experience that I'll never forget this year in 2020. One of the things I want to keep in my memory for all time. Now, what was the best thing about 2020 that didn't suck? Well, it's a movie that came out in February. This film had a lot of things going against it. It had a horrible trailer last year, bad soundtrack in the trailer, a bad design, a casting that people were kind of questioning, and a video game franchise that hasn't been popular in years. But the movie delivered. It was funny. It was entertaining. It's a huge step above half of the video game movies that came out in the past 27 years, since the Mario Brothers movie in 1993. That is, drum roll, the best thing about 2020 was the Sonic the Hedgehog movie. Yeah, Sonic the Hedgehog was not a movie I was expecting it to be as great as it was, but it made a ton of money. It was well received by critics mostly. Kids loved it. It was a huge nostalgia feel for me because as a fan of those games, when I played them when I was a kid in the 90s, this was a treat for me. The post-credit scene with Tails was amazing. If you haven't seen it, go see it, guys. I mean, there's no excuse. The film's been out almost a year now. It came out on Blu-ray back in May. This movie kicked ass. And the fact that every time I watch it, I have a smile on my face because I'm like, of all the movies in 2020, this one did not get pushed. So suck it, freaking Hollywood, for not releasing other movies this year because you're scared of a freaking virus. But anyway, Sonic did not get pushed. It was worth the wait. It was very funny. Jim Carrey steals the freaking movie with his over-the-top performance. The voice of Sonic, Ben Schwartz, was amazing, very cute, very funny performance. The rest of the cast, Tika Sumpter and James Marsden and everybody else, most of them did really well. It was a movie I waited so long for. I was having doubts about it, like when I saw the trailer last year, that stupid design. They changed the design and the movie made a ton of money, and it was well received. And unlike Birds of Prey, it made an impact. It's getting a sequel. And what else can I say about Sonic, guys? If you didn't see it, go see it. Stream it, buy it on Blu-ray, see it on DVD, just rent it digitally. It's worth your time. It's a reason why I went to the theater this year. I only went twice to see 2020 films, and they were both amazing. And that's my list, guys. So it didn't take an hour. It only took about 20 minutes. But yeah, it could have sucked badly, but I had lots of fun with it. Yes, exactly, Evan. And there's a reason why it's one of the only films in 2020 to get a release. In the theater, big crowd, lots of laughing, 2 post-credit scenes that were worth it. And the fact that the movie was not, had a lot against it, and it ran right through even the virus couldn't stop it, because when it got released on Blu-ray, people bought it, and I got it on Blu-ray for cheap back in the summer, and I keep watching it because the movie gives me a reason to rewatch it. Awesome soundtrack. The opening, on the Blu-ray, the menu has Sonic running. It's basically the end credits. It's like dun, 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 and it has the graphics from the original Genesis game that I played when I was 6. It was a lot of nostalgia. It was a great experience, and it helped 2020. It helped 2020 while it was a horrible year. It got me through the painful moments, through humor, and through a lighter tone, and through embracing the source material. That's why it didn't fail, Hollywood, because it embraced it. It didn't say, "Oh, we're ashamed to be a video game movie." No, it knew what it was. It went for it, and it was a crowd-pleasing moment for me, especially. I'm like, as a fan of the games, because I played the first 3 games on the Genesis and on the Nomad. This worked. Can't wait for the sequel in a few years. Go for it. There's nothing you got nothing to lose, guys. The first movie already made money and left an impact. And it didn't leave a blight on the video game genre. I want more video game movies like this. Hopefully, we get Mortal Kombat in 2021. I hope. I seriously doubt it, but we probably will get it. So that's my list, guys. The top 10 things that didn't suck about 2020. I hope you guys do put your own list or leave your comments. Thanks, Evan, for watching my video. When this is uploaded to YouTube, watch it, share it, subscribe to my new channel. I've had a new channel for about 3 months now. I keep on going for you guys because you're worth it. My audience, whether one person watches me or a million, keep watching me, guys, because I'm here for you. Because despite this year, despite all the things that have happened, all the things, the social distancing, washing the hands, lack of supplies in stores, and the theaters closed and the libraries closed and a lot of things closed. What was not closed was the freaking internet. Yeah, the internet connects us. Despite all the bullshit on Facebook and Twitter and Instagram with people fighting each other for no reason and bickering and complaining about everything, I'm still here, and I'm still going to fight for you guys. I'm still going to go through. I'm still going to get through this virus and just make it to 2021 and go to the theater again and just go on the floor and just touch it and just be like, oh, I missed you, theaters. I missed you, freaking library. I missed talking to people that I haven't seen in months. 2021 will be a better year, guys. I can know it. Yes, we'll still have to wear masks, but if I can go to the theater with a mask on, that would be better than not going to the theater for another year. The last time I went to theaters was in March, and that was a long time ago. That felt like a year ago, 9 months, in the Animal Draft House. Those of you that do still get to go to theaters, good for you. I want that experience again because it's been so long. I've been in cinematic withdrawal. The only cinema I get to see is at home, but it still was worth it thanks to streaming services and all these things on this list. I can rip it now. Thank you guys for watching. Take care. 2020 was rough. We only got 30 days left and we're in 2021. I will keep doing live streams. I will keep doing videos for you. I'll be posting on Facebook. And I will keep on trugging through because you have to keep moving forward, guys. That's what you do. You don't stop. You keep going. When a tire blows out, do you stop driving? No, you just keep going. And then you fix it and then you keep going. Keep driving. But that's enough for me. Thanks, guys, for watching. Take care. My next live stream will be in 2 days. I'm doing a live commentary on Shoot 'em Up, aka the R-rated Mandalorian. But you'll see what I mean. See you then. Later.